Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. Guys, today we'll be making this beautiful two-piece. Alright, if you're new to my channel, please do well to subscribe and turn on notification bell. Okay, so let's get started. So this is the fabric I used. It is satin fabric. So this is how I folded it. I folded it into two first of all, and then I went ahead and folded it again. So I have 4 folds all together, and the width I have here is 10 inches. So you determine the length you want. So basically I'm just marking out 2 inches for my band because it's an elastic waist. So I'm marking out 2 inches for the band, the elastic. So that is where all my measurements will start from. So I just want to connect that 2 inches. So moving on, I just want to take other measurement like the length. The length is 17 inches, just as you can see me measuring 17 inches. So I'll measure 17 inches and then I'll connect it just as you can see me doing, guys. So I just want to include the hemming allowance, which is 2 inches. That's what I'm connecting now. I'm marking 2 inches for the hemming. Okay, then for the waist, I'm going to use the hip measurement for the waist because it has an elastic, so that we'll have enough to accommodate the elastic. Okay, so I'll just go ahead now. I want to take the crotch measurement for this particular pant. The crotch I use is 8.5. Okay, so I'm just going ahead and I'll connect it to the waist like so. All right, then on that crotch I'm going to put the baby's thigh measurement and I will add 1 inch allowance. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is just to go ahead and trim off the excess that I don't want. That one is excess, so I don't need that. I just trimmed it off, and then I folded my allowance, my hemming allowance in, so that I know exactly what I'm working with. Okay, so I'll just go ahead. I'll put the ankle, the round ankle, and then I'll connect it to that crotch part, just as you can see me doing. All right, see how I connected it, and then I'll just curve in the crotch in. All right, curve it in like so, just as you can see me doing, guys, and I'm connecting it to the waistline. I'm just going in with my scissors and I'm cutting it like so. I'm just cutting it out like so, and then I'll bring it out. See what I have, see the shape, the hem shape. Okay, so let me open it up so that you see exactly what we have achieved before we go to the sewing machine. See it, this is what we have achieved. See that the waist is very wide because of the elastic we are going to be using. So just go ahead and sew it on the crotch like so. All right, this one up here is for your elastic, and the down part is where you're going to fold in. All right, okay, so I'm just going ahead on my machine. I'm sewing that crotch like I demonstrated earlier. I'm just sewing it in with 1/2 inch. You can even use less than 1/2 inch for this. So I'm done with the first part. I'm sewing the second crotch, just as you can see me doing. I'm just sewing it like so, guys. So I'm done. Let me open it so you see what we have. You see the pants is already looking beautiful. We are not even done with it. So I'll go ahead and fold in the hem following the shape that he gave me. So I'll just fold it in with 1/2 inch, and I will further fold it in. I'll fold it with 1 inch and then fold it in again because our allowance is 2 inches. Okay, so I'm just hemming it now. You can do this after you're done sewing everything. You can actually do it now. See how beautiful it is, how neat and precise it is. So I'll just go ahead. I'll sew the crotch like so, just as I demonstrated. I'll sew it like so with 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm done sewing the crotch. See how flawless it's looking. I've not even pressed it. It's looking very flawless. See the hem, see how fine the hem is looking, guys. It's very simple. Then for your elastic band, just put the elastic on the baby's waist and measure it. Let it not be too tight and let it not be too loose. Okay, that is how I was able to get this elastic. Then I'm just joining it, all right, like so with 1/2 inch. So I'll go ahead, I will insert it on the pant like so. I'll insert it and then I will fold it in. All right, I'll fold it in like so, then I'll go to my machine, I'll sew it, making sure I'm not matching on the elastic. Please don't sew on the elastic. Use your hand and be touching it just as you can see me doing, so that you'll be sure you're not stepping on the elastic. Take your time to do this. All right, as a beginner, always take your time to sew. So guys, I'm done sewing in the elastic. See how beautiful it is. See the waist. You know, we use the hip measurement on the waist, so it gave us enough space. So you see, it's very beautiful. All right, so for the top, the upper part, this is 7 inches wide, yeah, and this is 9 inches the length. This is for the back. The first one I measured is for the back, and this particular one is for the front. See, it is 9 inches, the same length but not the same width. This one has extra. So this extra allowance here for the front is for the overlap, yeah, in front of the top. So you have to include that in your measurements. Okay, so I'll fold it back in, and then I'll grab the back one and put on top. All right, then I'll go ahead, I'll measure the shoulder and then the armhole. The armhole is 5 inches, as you can see me, and then I'll connect it back to the shoulder, just as you can see me doing, guys. And then, sorry, I didn't know my camera wasn't rolling, so I just went ahead, I measured the waist, and then I added 1 inch allowance. That is what I did here, and then I connected it to that armhole, just as you can see me demonstrating. And then for the width of the neck, I used 2.5 inches, okay, and then this one is for the depth, I use 1 inch. This is for the back actually. All right, then I went ahead, I measured 3 inches depth, but I mark it inside. The inner one is the front, this upper one is the back, remember. So I'll just connect this neck to the armhole, just as you can see me doing. All right, so I'll go in with my scissors and I'll chop. I'll just cut it off, and then I'll cut the back. Remember, we're cutting the back, yeah, and then I'll cut the neckline, yeah, the shoulder, and then the armhole, just as you can see me doing, guys. Then I'll take off the back, as you can see, and now have the front. Then I'll connect that 3 inches properly to the neckline, because the front and the back depth is not the same. And then I'll cut it off, just as you can see me doing. Let me open it up so that you see that our extra allowance for the overlap, or yeah, for the overlap in front, let me trim it off a bit so that it will be equal. So I'm just going in with my marker. I marked 1.2 inches, yeah, then I will notch it. I just marked 1.2 inches. You know, I have 1.5 inches there, but I marked 1.2 inches, and then I'll cut it open. And this is what I have after I cut it open. Make sure you notch it before you cut it open. Then on my sewing machine, I just went ahead, I cut out a strip of fabric like this one I'm holding, that is about 2 to 3 inches wide and then 10 inches long, about the length of the top. And I'm just go ahead, I will sew it like this. I placed it and I will sew it from the notch, and then I'll also sew the side like so. I'll sew the side like so, you see, and then I'll turn it out like this. See what I have? I'm turning it out. See, then let me cut out the excess so everything will be looking fine and nice. And then I'll just, top stitch where I sewed. I just top stitch the upper part that I sewed, and then I'm folding it in like so. You can iron it, give it a good press so that it will lay well. All right, so I'm just holding it down with the basting stitch, the down part, so that it will not be dancing. So this is what we have, all right, after sewing. So I'll do it for the other one. It's 2 pieces. So in this particular one, I'm going ahead now to just sew the shoulder, the 2 shoulder, okay, the back and the front together. I'm sewing it, and then I also sew the second shoulder like so, trimming off the excess thread. Okay, this is it. This is what it looks like after joining the shoulder, guys. This is what it looks like. I'll just go and top stitch that part. I noticed it was opening. I didn't iron it properly, so I just top stitch it. See what it looks like after I top stitch it. Okay, so right now I'm just measuring the neckline. Okay, measuring the neckline to see what I have. I have 7 inches times 2, that is 14 inches. So this is the strip I'm using for it, the fabric I'm using for it, 3 inches wide, and the length is about 15 inches. 15 inches plus 1 inch sewing allowance. Please add allowance. Okay, and then I'm going in the neck measurement, I'm putting it there, which is 7 inches, and then plus allowance. Please add allowance. And then I went up by half an inch, just as you can see me doing, and I'm connecting it like so. I'm connecting it like so, just a slant curve, not too curvy, like this. And I'm going in with my scissors and I'm cutting it out like so, cutting it out. I've gotten to the curve side. This is it. See how curved that place is looking. Let me open it up. Then you fold it like so, upwards. Fold it this way and sew. Fold it like so and sew. On the other side, also do the same. Yeah, also repeat the same thing for the other side. See how it's looking. I held it, I folded it, and I sewed it. You see, I folded it like so, and I put it in my machine and I sewed it like so. So see what it looks like after I'm done sewing. Let me fold it out. See it? I'm folding it out. Okay. You see it? You see why it's good to fold it? It just helps you. Everything aligns on its own. So I'll go to my top now. I'll just go and sew it with that half an inch. I'm just sewing it on the neckline. As you can see me doing, just sewing it from one end to the other. Okay, to finish it up, this is what I will do. I'll just go in again on my sewing machine. I'll fold in like so, and I'll fold it in. You see, it's very simple. Then I'll just go ahead, I'll keep sewing it, making sure the rough edges is inside the collar. The rough edges should be inside the collar, please. I'm done sewing it, and then I'm just attaching that gathers on the gathers on the top. I just made gathers for the top, and then I went in with a strip to bias the armhole. It doesn't have a sleeve, so we'll have to bias the armhole. If you don't want to use a strip, you can use bias tape to do it. So I'm just sewing the bias fabric on the armhole, and then I'm turning it like so, just to finish up the armhole. You see it? I'm just trying to finish up the armhole so that it will be neat. I'm folding it carefully. Just do it gently and carefully. All right. This strip should be about 1.5 inches. It should be okay for you. Then the length is the length of your armhole. Then just shape it like so. I'm shaping it now with 1 inch. See, I'm done. It's very easy, guys. This is beautiful, very beautiful. Okay, guys, you can use your button, anything you want to use for it. All right, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one. Bye.